Well, hi, everybody. It's Kyle Kramer, the CEO of the Earth and Spirit Center, joined once again by one of our esteemed faculty members, Dr. Tony Zipple. Hey, Tony.
Hi, Kyle. Good to be with you.
Good to be with you. Happy adventure of 2025.
Well, it's going to be an interesting year, if nothing else.
Indeed, indeed. Well, an interesting year, perhaps a fraught year in some ways. And you have a wonderful course coming up called A Life of Peace in Times of Worry. And I think 2025 will probably qualify as a time of worry, at least for some folks. And I'm really eager to dig into the details of this class with you. But before we do, Tony, for those Earth and Spirit Center community members who may not be familiar with you, you've taught for us for many years, and you've had an illustrious career in behavioral health. I'm wondering if you can just say a word or two about your background to help folks know, that the many qualifications you bring to your work as an instructor with us.
Yeah, sure. I'm a psychologist originally by training, and spent some years as a full-time prof and academic researcher at Boston University before jumping back over into service work. And I've spent the last 30 years, or spent 30 years as COO or a CEO of large mental health organizations. So building, putting together, making work, all kinds of complicated mental health services. Retired from that 5 or 6 years ago, and have been spending my time deep in the area of positive psychology. Understanding the science of happiness. What is it that really brings us joy? How do we manage stress and trauma, which of course is inevitable, and have good, happy, productive lives in spite of the fact that there are things that bump us around on a day-to-day basis.
Yes, I mean, all of us. None of us gets out unscathed in terms of the bumps and bruises. I'm just wondering, I love and have studied positive psychology as well. Mindfulness is a term of art, obviously, and a familiar term with the Earth and Spirit Center audience. I wonder if you could say a word or two about the connection between the kind of happiness and resilience that you're talking about within the positive psychology context and mindfulness.
Well, so much of happiness and our ability to change our level of happiness has to do with our stopping and making a choice about what we pay attention to. How do we focus our attention in a way that really serves us well? And mindfulness skills are really critical to that. How do we learn how to stop and just be present instead of drifting off into kind of our fantasies about what used to be or what might happen in the future? It begins with the ability to be present and make a choice about where we focus attention. So clearly, lots of overlap with mindfulness.
Uh, so, A Life of Peace in Times of Worry. This is a 6-week course. It's going to begin in early March, Monday evenings at from 7 to 8:30. Who is this course for? Anyone who worries, anyone who ruminates, anyone who's nervous about the coming year, and what kind of like prerequisites, if any, would you be looking for in someone who might benefit from this course?
Yeah, I think the course is a good fit for anybody who wants to decrease their level of stress and tendency to worry and ruminate about things, and find a way to just be a little more peaceful, a little more relaxed, a little happier in the face of challenges that we face. So, no real prerequisites for it. A couple of things about it that are probably worth noting. One is that there are experiential parts of this. It's not going to be just lectures. So the expectation will be that people come and they learn some things. There's some discussion and lecture, but there's some practice parts of this too, and some willingness to think together about how we manage worry and rumination and stress. So people should come expecting to be a part of active work in it. And I think the second thing would be that if there's somebody who's been to some of the other courses I've taught at Earth and Spirit Center, they'll probably find some overlap in this. There'll be some parts of it that will be new. Some of the framing of it will certainly be new, and some parts of it will seem familiar.
Well, I know from having taken part in your courses and workshops that you are always, in terms of content, you always have such command of the content. You always put together really fantastic PowerPoint presentations. So I'm glad to hear that you'll both be delivering some excellent and needful content, but also inviting folks into a process as part of their experience.
Well,
So
because happiness and feeling peaceful and contentment is something that you do. It's not something that you talk about, right?
yeah, it's not something you get an A in, or
Yeah,
or
you don't learn how to play basketball by reading a book about it, and you don't learn how to be peaceful and how to be happier by just reading about it. You have to practice it.
Amen. Well, once again, A Life of Peace in Times of Worry, Practical Strategies for Cultivating Contentment. This 6-week course starts Monday evenings on March 3rd. And Tony, we are very much looking forward to having you back in the classroom. And everybody can learn more at the link that accompanies this video or at our website, www.earthandspiritcenter.org. Thanks, Tony.
Thank you, Kyle.